Time for another award-winning mailbag here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. You may be wondering, how do I get involved in said mailbags? Well, we do these on our live shows. We go live each and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And whenever we have some big breaking news of some sorts, we also go live as well. And so you need to make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can take part in the mailbags and also have your notifications turned on so you know exactly when we go live on the channel. We got you covered. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Our first question comes from the legend himself, Mark Sanchez. Sanchez wants to know, #Seahawks, if the Seahawks draft was tomorrow, who do you guys think we would draft at the 5th spot, or do we trade back? I think it all depends on the offer as far as trade back goes, and that's all situational, right? We don't know what teams are going to offer as far as trading back goes. But here's the thing. I think this Seahawks team, the way that they're set up right now, and when the future is in mind when it comes to Seattle, that you can take a step forward and you can win more games than you did this past season, but the real prize is building sustainability, to being a contending team for the long haul, for a long time. So if you're the Seahawks, I think ideally you would like a situation where maybe you could trade back from 5, stay in the top 10, and then pick up a first-round pick for next year as well. If you can find that opportunity, and let's say get a guy like Tyree Wilson, I think you're feeling great. You're cooking with bacon grease. But if you're at 5 and Jalen Carter is still around or Will Anderson is still around, then I think you're saying to yourself, okay, I got to have one of those guys. So it's all situational as far as that goes. But those are my 2 perfect scenarios if I'm Seattle. Georgie wants to know, should the Seahawks pick up Josh Gordon? Josh Gordon, to his credit, played some really good football with the Seattle Sea Dragons in the XFL. By the way, I like the XFL. The product that The Rock is putting out there, not bad. Pretty entertaining. Although I'm not happy with the $40 bet I lost in Vegas on the XFL over the weekend. That's a whole other story. But nonetheless, Josh Gordon, I'm happy for him. I'm glad things are going well there with the Sea Dragons. And I hope he continues to play well and stays on the right path there in the XFL. But I'll be honest, I'm a little skeptical about his future of going back to the NFL. He's had so many chances time and time again. I would say no for now, but let's see. Seattle Dan writes, hi, Dan. #Seahawks, I know we already have a really good running back in K9, but if Bijan is available at 20, we can't pass on him, right? Bijan Robinson's a stud. He is the best running back to come out in the NFL draft since probably Saquon Barkley, okay? He is legit. And with Kenneth Walker there, okay, you already have a top 10 running back for the next few years leading your way, okay? And then you might even still bring back Rashad Penny potentially to be your backup if he's willing to take a small price tag of some sorts, okay? And then you look at the draft, and there's some other younger running back options. Potentially, you could find one of those later rounds. I know it would be very tempting to take Bijan if he's there at 20, but I don't see it happening. And don't get me wrong, I like Bijan Robinson as a Big 12 football fan. I am glad that Bijan is headed to the NFL and he's out of my conference now. Don't have to deal with him anymore. But I don't know. I don't know about that idea of him going to the Seahawks at 20 just because you already took care of that need with Kenneth Walker. Should the Seahawks draft Bijan Robinson? If he's around at 20, should the Seahawks take him? Let me know in the comments section. This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Use the Y for yes or the N for no to get your votes in, and let me know if the Seahawks should draft Bijan Robinson or not. Beard King writes, how likely is it we would be able to get Chark as the Hawks wide receiver 3? Okay, think about this. So you got your wide receiver 1 and 2 with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, and it really depends on the day who is the top wide receiver and who is the number 2 wide receiver. But they're both very good, right? But you need that number 3. Marquise Goodwin showed some signs at times last year, but he also had some injury issues and some consistency things there. DJ Chark, he's had some injury issues over the years. He's a very talented player, but if I were to guess, there's enough teams that need wide receivers to be their number 1 or number 2. I don't think DJ Chark is coming to Seattle with, remember, the limits that they have to pay to be the number 3 guy. I look at a team like Baltimore, for example, that needs all the wide receiver help they can get. Or Green Bay, okay, where he can be a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. I don't see him going to Seattle being the 3rd option. He's a good football player, no question about it, but I don't see Seattle. I'd be shocked if they were able to get him to be your 3rd wide receiver as far as I'm concerned. Seahawks Today is sponsored by Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 every morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. I came into this year wanting to get healthier, and starting my year on AG1 has helped me do just that. I take it every morning, and I feel the best I have ever felt. Covering my nutritional bases for the day, literally, couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. Done. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day. Pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality source ingredients win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Kim wants to know, what do you think of the idea to draft and use Anthony Richardson in a Taysom Hill-type role? Kim, let me put it to you this way, okay? Anthony Richardson is a hell of an athlete. He probably caught the most attention of any quarterback in the combine with the straight athleticism that he showed. The speed, the jumping ability, all of that. I mean, it was just incredible what we saw from Anthony Richardson over the weekend at the combine. With that said, Anthony Richardson, and I don't blame him, to be honest, why on earth, if you're Anthony Richardson, would you be trying to switch positions right now? If all these teams are considering you to be a top 20 pick as a quarterback, you're not going in with the mindset of, well, this team drafted me, I got to play tight end now or receiver or whatever it may be. No, that's not happening. No. Anthony Richardson, although I think he's not a great quarterback in my humble opinion, he's not that good of a passer. Anthony Richardson, wherever he goes, at least for now anyway, is to be a quarterback. And quite frankly, he's earned the right to at least see if he's a quarterback at this level before he should figure out if he should change positions or not. We'll see. But right now, no, he's a quarterback, and I don't think the Seahawks should draft him as a quarterback. Seahawks for Life wants to know, did we overpay for Geno Smith? Let's look at the quarterbacks that have gotten paid recently, right? Okay? So you have Daniel Jones in New York, got $40 million. You got Derek Carr in New Orleans, who got $37.5 million. Lamar Jackson got $32 million on the non-exclusive tag. And then there's Geno Smith, who got $35 million. Okay? Now think about this. Of those 4 quarterbacks we just mentioned, who was the best quarterback last year of those 4? Geno Smith. Okay? Now, Lamar's situation is a whole outlier because it's a tag and all that. But you got Geno Smith cheaper than you did Derek Carr, and then you did Daniel Jones. And every time Derek Carr cashes a paycheck, he's stealing money. Okay? And so then Daniel Jones, you factor that in, $40 million for a guy that I thought Geno outplayed him by a mile. I understand $35 million is a lot, especially considering okay, that mid-season, the talk was the $25 to $30 million range. So that's a significant pay bump from what he would have gotten mid-season. Even with that said, no. I don't think the Seahawks overpaid. I think they're fine at 35 for 3 years and the way they did it there. Grade the extension for me. A, B, C, D, or F. I am on record. I will reiterate. I believe that the Seahawks deserve an A for that extension, for what they were able to put together for Geno Smith. What say you? Let me know in the comment section. How would you grade the extension for Geno Smith? Take into account some of these other quarterbacks, what they got paid to. I think that's a very important part of this. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know how you would grade the Geno Smith extension. Gerard wants to know, Seahawks take a QB with the 5th pick. Probably not. You've bought yourself time with Geno Smith, where you don't have to, okay? And I like Bryce Young. I like C.J. Stroud. I like them both a lot better than I do Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. But there's a couple guys next year that I like more than I do Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, and that is Caleb Williams and Drake May, okay? And so if I'm the Seahawks, I'm looking at it this way. Roll with what you got, okay, of Geno Smith, the money you're paying him. Use those picks elsewhere. Maybe you trade down, salvage a pick, use it in next year's draft, and then you could potentially get one of those 2 quarterbacks there. But right now, I'm not looking at a quarterback for that number 5 pick, quite frankly. Seahawks UK. I heard it's snowing right now, where Seahawks UK is at. Is Haener any good? Who are you referring to there? Jake Haener? Okay, there we go. Jake Haener, the Fresno State quarterback. Jake Haener, the numbers were solid on Jake Haener. 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 72% completion percentage, a little less than 3,000 passing yards. But you think about it, he played at Fresno State in the Mountain West Conference. And look at the competition that he was facing at Fresno State. Boise State, San Diego State, you know, those type of teams. So with that said, you have a very accurate quarterback, but the competition was not so great for Jacob Haener as far as that goes. I'll say this. I'm on a record. I said this earlier in the week. I'll say it again. I think the Seahawks, when it comes to finding a backup, if Drew Lock were to leave, I'd rather draft a quarterback than I would sign a veteran. A guy like Jake Haener, if he's around day 3 or something like that, that could be the sneaky find potentially. Somebody off the wall that's a late round pick maybe to be that backup. We'll see. But thanks for letting us know on that question. Swedish Fish 33. I like Swedish Fish. Not bad candy. What do you think of the idea of drafting Jalen Smith at 5 and Nolan Smith at 20 if they are available? Jalen Smith at 5, probably no. Nolan Smith at 20. It's interesting. He had a hell of a combine. People were talking about him of what he was able to do in his vertical jump and the 40 time he put together. He's certainly going to skyrocket boards. I don't see the Seahawks taking Jalen Smith at 5. Nolan Smith might be a possibility at 20, although that could still be a reach of some sorts, but I'll be intrigued to see where he goes. But the Smiths, can you have too many Smiths? I don't know, but we'll see. 5, my mind is still set on hopefully Will Anderson or Jalen Carter is still there. Hi, Kenneth Walker. Thanks for being here with us, K9. It's been a minute. Hashtag Seahawks. AR-15, Anthony Richardson, is the next Cam Newton. And if it goes to the Seahawks, he'll have weapons, unlike Cam, and he can sit and learn behind Geno. Also, Pete knows for developing QBs. All right, so apparently we get breaking news here in Seahawks Today. Kenneth Walker wants to bring in Anthony Richardson. Well, Kenneth Walker, I'm glad you're watching. First off, thanks for being here. But secondly, as far as him being the next Cam Newton goes, Cam Newton showed a lot more ability when he was at Auburn, won a national championship with the Auburn Tigers, than what Anthony Richardson showed at Florida when he just wasn't very accurate. I know Anthony Richardson models his game after Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson. We know he's athletic as can be. There was a very good meeting, it seemed, at the Combine between Pete Carroll and Anthony Richardson. I get all of that. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, come on now. Really? Are we doing this? Are we trying to say, oh, use a pick on drafting a quarterback and sit behind Geno when you just paid Geno $35 million a year? K9, glad you're here, man. Thanks for joining us. But Anthony Richardson, no. Tyler from the 12. What about bringing in Bud Dupree? Well, Bud Dupree, he started with the Steelers, went to the Titans, and he's been in the league, what now, a while? Jeremy Chuggs managed their Steelers channel for a bit. It was a long time, wasn't it, Chuggsy, that he was in Pittsburgh? I mean, he's been in the league a minute. I don't know the exact number, but it's been a while.
He's been with the Titans the past 2 years, had a lot of injury issues, was really good his last year in Pittsburgh 2 years ago. The past 2 years.
He's not a spring chicken.
No, he's a rotational pass rusher.
Right.
He's a solid third or fourth pass rusher.
Right. And so my point being, he's not a young guy at this point in time. Okay. Bud Dupree's had a pretty solid career. Nobody's denying that. I think that, you go back, what was it, about 3 or 4 years ago in Pittsburgh, and he looked really, really good. He had some good moments with the steel curtain and being a part of that Steeler defense there. But, I think that Bud Dupree, he has played just good enough that price tag of what he's worth is probably too much for what Seattle can pay. I'm not interested in an older pass rusher like Bud Dupree. Nothing against him, but I don't think it works for Seattle. Name a player the Seahawks should sign. Tell me in the comments section who comes to mind. Whether it's a Bud Dupree or another guy out there, let us know in the comments section who the Seahawks should sign in free agency. You can also follow me on social media as well. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live, and I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.